may or may not be live. Let's get our reference picture for the evening. Okay. Maybe not that big. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Is there a grab tool? No. Oh? There's a hand tool. It makes you go coochie coochie coo. Coochie coochie coo. Yeah. Oh, it's also crashed my entire computer. Oh. Control V. Yes! Make a new layer. This is my reference layer. This is my reference layer, Cam. Just lots of mountains. For the love of gorge. Why is it so... Look, Cam, you don't see me come into where you work and... Okay, then get this, move that. The reason I think this picture is really nice, right, is we've got a foreground here, we've got a midground here, and then we've got a background there. If I just move the mountains here, it's not as complex a picture. And therefore it might be easier to draw. Yeah, what the f am I talking about? This is fine. I'll just, It's perfect! Select and delete the mountain sky. Okay. No. I'm almost there, probably. You're doing great. I believe it. It's kind of jarring to watch. Look, I don't know if this comes through when I do a speed paint, but I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. What's the phrase? If you give a million monkeys a million typewriters, they will eventually write the complete works of Shakespeare. Okay. So that's the sort of image. That's kind of what you want. Editing Jake from the future here. I'm going to talk over this speed paint because I think it's quite an interesting bit of development in my art career, if that's what you want to call it. Because I started off with this picture doing a similar thing to what I did last time. Is it just trying to kind of almost trace it? But that's not quite what ended up happening. I mean, hopefully you can see in the background that Cam's lessons on doing layers and doing it such that you can colour stuff in without using the fill tool and without half of your line art disappearing, so I don't have to redraw my line art, thankfully, apart from a couple of the times where I do. But while we're on this little freeze frame here, I usually, when I do a piece of art, I do a piece that looks like this, or it looks like this. They're kind of abstract usually, and I like to use colours. And about halfway through, about here actually, Rosie tells me, hey, do it in your own style, I don't want you to trace over it, Jay, it's just going to look naff. Do an abstract version of what you're seeing. So that was interesting. I began to sort of just, in my line art, just see where things wanted to go rather than how things actually were. And I think it mostly turned out okay once I started to do that. I'm kind of proud of this bit of detail I put in the top right corner there. Just a little bits and pieces to stop the image feeling from too empty. So here I am experimenting with the type of colour stuff that I usually do and seeing if it's going to work. And also playing around with some of the tools that I've been taught. Cam taught me how to use the water tool and the blur tool, and I thought, well, I could probably use some of these. Because I suspected if I did my normal thing, which is what I'm doing here, just slowly going down in a gradient, so that at the top it's very light and the dark is very black. As you can see, it's kind of almost completely obscured my line art, so I'm trying to do a little something with it. And I think in the end what I did was I added a bit of the water tool over the top. And I think it looks nice, but yeah, I think there's room for me to grow with that. That was kind of an experiment. Had to move on though, I only had an hour left. This foreground was a pain for a couple of reasons. First off, because I didn't quite know how I was going to get the snow effect. But secondly, because I didn't want the mountains to look like they were floating. Because quite frequently it did, it looked like they were floating. As you can kind of see here. So I briefly gave up and did the sky instead, because I thought if I merge a couple of shades of blue together, that'll look mountainous, and I think it does. It suits anyway. So here I am trying to add shadows in, and it's not quite working. Nah, it's not quite working. So what I did instead was have a look at the kind of shadows it makes. I thought, well, maybe I can do that. No, that's not going to work. So I had a look back at my original reference image, and I noticed that there's kind of like a stream of lighter colours in the middle, kind of surrounded by two darker ones. That's kind of how the snow naturally is lit. So I thought, oh, I can do something a little bit abstract with these. And as you can see, there we go. It doesn't quite look like the hills in the background. Doesn't quite look like the hills are just floating in the background. It almost looks like it's one piece. I was coming up to time, to be honest. I only had 10 minutes as of this point, and I thought, oh no, look at all these imperfections. So I had to go in and manually try and fix them for a bit. So, you know, just filling them in, and just fixing little bits and pieces here and there. And, you know, that's how I ended my stream. Obviously, I got rid of these two lumps here, which actually makes it look way better, as I'm sure you'll agree when I turn the full picture on. Here it is. I think you can definitely see that it's working a lot lot better for me than the last picture was, which of course is, you know, no insult to Cam whatsoever. It's just, it's not quite my style. I don't think I'm quite pulled in that direction. So yeah, mixed feelings about that one. I'm quite happy with what I managed to do, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Subscribe if you want. I think that's what you're supposed to do on this YouTube thing. See you later.